Hey everyone. Sorry, I don't know why my camera is not working, but I wanted to come on before I got too busy in my day and it just got pushed back and maybe even forgotten. I wanted to come on here today. This is 100 Days of Purpose, and today's topic is going to be keep watching. I think that many times we get into a situation, and I always like to say this: I can show you better than I can tell you, because many times we want to tell people about the exciting things we're going through and tell people about what's going on in our lives. And sometimes we've had those hiccups, right? We've had something where we've started it, we thought it was going to be great, and it didn't turn out the way we were anticipating or hoping it would. And so our family, our friends, those that are involved in our lives, they have seen that. And they have said, okay, this is another thing that Linda is doing. And remember the last thing she did, or remember when she did this many years ago, or, she dropped out of this, or she started this and stopped this. And so we want to go up and say, hey, look, I got this great idea. This is what I'm doing. This is what I believe the outcome is going to be. And we want to share that. But I have learned that sometimes you have to keep those things to yourself. And so it's all about saying, listen, keep watching, right? Um, because action do speak louder than words. And I think that when you are consistent and persistent in the things that you are trying to accomplish as a person of purpose, when you are consistent and persistent about what you're trying to accomplish, success will come to you. Remember, when failure happens, failure is not a sign that you're not supposed to do it. Failure is a sign that that's not the right way to do what you're trying to accomplish. And so failure is an elimination, not an final thing. You understand what I'm saying? It's not, it's eliminating what does not work. And so if you fail, you get up, you dust yourself off, and you continue to move forward. You continue to push forward. And so keep watching. Don't allow someone to say, oh, well, I thought you said this was going to happen, or I thought you said you were going to do this, or I thought it was going to be successful. You don't look successful to me. No, it didn't work this time. It didn't work doing it this way, but I'm going to keep going through the process of finding what's going to work for me. Many times when we get into situations, we try to do it like we've seen somebody else do it. And that may not work for you. That may not work for your personality. That may not work for your lifestyle. That might not work at the level of knowledge that you have, your education. There's different things. And I tell people, because I'm a tax preparer, and people will come to me and they'll say, hey, look, Linda, my next door neighbor said that they got $5,000 back because, and we make the same amount of money. We live in the same exact area. We have the same amount of kids. So if they got that, I should get that. And I have to explain to them, every situation is different. In life, every situation, every circumstance is different. Even if we are going through the same situation, if you will, even if it looks like the same circumstances, because of my background, because of where I come from, because of how I think and what I've experienced in my life, my situation is going to be different than your situation. They can look identical, but they are not. You can work on the same job, but the way you do your job and the way somebody else does their job, even with the same job title, is going to be different, because we process things differently. And so when you are being a person of purpose, you have to be strategic and intentional about what it is that you are doing, but you have to also understand that it's based on the things on the inside of you. It's based on what you've been accustomed to. It's based on what you've been exposed to. And there may be different exposures in your life than in someone else's life. So you really can't compare apples to apples, because there are no apples quite like yours. You can't compare oranges to oranges, because there's really no oranges like yours. And so what I want you to get out of today's lesson is keep watching. Don't always run out and show your hand, right? Don't always tell people, well, I'm about to do this and I'm about to do this and it's going to be great and this, that, and the other, because there are going to be those that are going to be saying, I remember when you were going to sell paparazzi and you thought that was going to make you millions of dollars, and you gave up in 6 weeks. I remember when you were going to sell Avon and that didn't work out. I remember when you were selling Mary Kay and that didn't work out. I remember when you were doing XYZ, you were going to sell this, or you were going to do this. You were going to start this business. You were going to get involved in this career. And they will always remind you of your failures. But listen, failures are not what defines you. What defines you is your tenacity. What defines you is your purpose. What defines you is your get up and go. What defines you is your why. And so when you understand that, when you recognize that, just tell them, keep watching. That's all I can say to you. Keep watching. I made some mistakes in the past. Yeah, I did some things that I probably shouldn't have done, or I tried to make some things work for me, trying to be like somebody else. But now I'm taking ownership of my life, and I want you to keep watching, because I can show you better than I can tell you. That's all you have to say to people. When you are being strategic and intentional about your life and who you are going to serve and who you are going to allow into your life, that's how you do it. Keep watching. I dare you to keep watching, because when I make it, you're going to remember I told you. Keep watching. So listen, I am Coach Linda. Again, sorry that my camera is not working. I got a new computer and it said that it was allowing my camera, but it didn't. So I have to work on that. Hopefully by tomorrow, my camera will be working and it'll be able to go through and you guys can see my face and all of my wonderful expressions that I make when I'm talking and hand gestures. But until then, listen, this is 100 Days of Purpose. We are moving right along. We're less than 20 days. I think today is actually day number 83. So we are moving right along. When we get to 100, I am absolutely going to celebrate, because this has been a journey, but we are going to complete it together. Listen. Only those that can see the invisible can achieve the impossible. I dare you to be exactly who you were created and designed to be, and let the world adjust.